Hello YouTube and welcome to an updated mod preview of Shadow Legacy. We're here in my new sort of preview world. Let us discuss the changes that have happened since last time. So probably the first thing you guys noticed is this sort of thing up here. That is the mana bar in Shadow Legacy. So you can see it's divided into these segments. Each segment represents one unit of mana, effectively. Things will cost a certain number of units. The units will regenerate over time. And I mean, that's pretty much it, really. I mean, it's a more sort of simplified system than the old one. Rather than having to deal with like thousands of mana cost and whatever, it's just one unit or 2 units per spell cost, etc. More powerful spells will use more up. You'll be able to get discounts on things as per, and all of that stuff. So, one of the other features that this mana bar has is that there are actually 2 types of mana in Shadow Legacy, which, considering you're only focusing on one element, might seem a little bit strange, since previously there were 6 types, with each element having its own, effectively. But in this you've got 2. You've got regular and corrupted. So corrupted mana, although you can't obtain it in this version, is currently in the game. And the way it works is that, or the way I intend it to work, is that every so often you'll be attacked by a type of creature known as a Promethean, which is a type of shadow minion, which, if you remember from Lordcraft original, was the name of the language that you used for the research system. So these shadow minions, what they are is effectively lords, or lows as they're called in Shadow Legacy, because we're in that time period where that's what they're called, that died during the 1,000-Year War, which is what's going on in the background of Shadow Legacy's time period. You're sort of separate from it, but it's at the same time as that within the storyline. This 1,000-Year War is sort of this war between these sort of natural elements and these celestial elements, where they're sort of vying for control of the realms, effectively. But you'll find that out as you go through this anyway. But shadow minions are essentially lords or lows that, when they died, had either cast a spell upon themselves that allowed them to retain some of their magical ability and become a sort of creature of sort of pure energy, as it were. Prometheans are a special variant of a shadow minion that has been effectively corrupted and resurrected in a particular way that is not exactly good, as it were. Anyway, these Prometheans will attempt to take magic from you, because it's the only way for them to return to their sort of physical form, is to have enough magic to recreate one for them to go into. So effectively, they will attack you every so often, and if they hit you, they will corrupt one of your mana units, and then they will disappear, because they've now completed their task, which is to take some mana from you. Corrupted mana, which is what they give you, has its own benefits and detriments, so you won't be able to use it for normal spellcasting. However, there are plans for a sort of corruption branch of the research system, which will allow you to use the corruption magic, or cleanse yourself of the corruption magic, in ways that are different. So it's kind of like you have your sort of good side and evil side, as it were. That's kind of the idea I'm going for, but it's not that sort of, they're not exactly good and evil. It's just one way of looking at things and another way, but it's kind of the same in reality. Anyway, they all have their benefits. So with this whole unit system, when I go back to Lordcraft 2, one of the more recent things was void crystals, which you fill up with mana, and they can be used to automate certain machines. Void crystals will work pretty much the same way as before, in that you just activate them, and they will take one of your mana units, and that will count as one charge for the void crystal, which is the same as 1,000 mana in the old system. Or 100 or whatever it was, I can't remember. Some ridiculous number. It's been a while since I've actually looked into that as such, because I've been busy on this and also other things, which is, you'll understand at the end what I mean by that. But essentially, the void crystals can hold regular mana and they can hold corruption mana, and corruption mana will be usable in pretty much the same way as the regular stuff, maybe a little bit more powerful potentially, but maybe more restricted in where you can use it and may require additional research. I'm yet to work out the balance on that, but that is my current thought on the situation. Is it should be more powerful, but it should require more effort to know how to use it properly. So that's it about the mana bar. There is something else I will show you, but to do that I need to use up some of the mana first. It's to do with the sort of refill animation type of thing. It's not the best yet. I'm still working on a lot of stuff, but it's more a proof of concept than anything. Alright, cool. Let's dive into some of the other new things. So if I open up my Arcana Mysterium, see we've got the same two sections before, still haven't done anything with passive abilities yet. That's going to be coming later on. But the main one we're going to look at is research. Same number of researchers as before. Again, haven't really been looking into it much. I've been mainly working on back-end systems when I have been working on this. So there's a lot of things that I actually have implemented that I can't showcase here because I can't get them. Like the questing system is in, but I can't get quests because I don't have any NPCs to give me quests yet. So yeah, that'll probably be in the next showcase, I would imagine, that you'll see that. Right, so as before, you can click on a completed research, these green ones, and it will show you a bunch of stuff. And I've now added these little underline bits to sort of important information that will sort of help you to analyze, because I know that it's nice to sort of like be able to work things out, but that's not really why most people play Minecraft. They want to just be told what to do a lot of the time. Some people like it this way, where it's just like you read and you work out what you've got to do, but not everyone does. So that's why I've underlined these things to like point out this is the bit that's actually important, you know, gameplay wise. The rest of it's all sort of lore stuff. So we've got our page buttons as before, that hasn't changed. But what has now been added is the research system. So if I go for this one here, Arcane Chalk, obtainable, you'll see that it now has this interface that's popped up, and they've got a bunch of letters on the side here. These are the sort of ancient Lowe's symbols for their letters. And that's the sort of symbols that you'll be using. We're using the sort of other Shadow Minion letters around the outside of this circle bit here. Which is a thing, because this is kind of in that time period between using these old letters here and these sort of updated ones, like there. So this is pretty similar to the research system in Lordcraft 2. It's a bit different because obviously the layout is different, but as you can see, we've been asked to type in Syntheros, which is the letter C. So if we find that, yeah, Syntheros. Can't click it because it's red, which means I haven't unlocked it yet, but I can draw it like so. So pretty much the same as it used to work in Lordcraft. And then I just click the button once I think I've got it, and you'll see just a little animation and an even little sparkly thing over here to tell me that I've unlocked. And so now if I just press the letter C on the keyboard, it will just fill it in for me, which is pretty nice. If I type something that isn't a letter, like this, for example, I don't know, it's not a real letter, it will do that kind of animation. If I type in the wrong letter, it'll do that. So it'll still do these sort of like, this is your input letter thing, but it's not the right one. So I need to do alphos, which is A, which is this triangle thing. Again, I get sparkle and thing. Then I do lindis, which is this one. And something else again. Enemy is this one. You get the idea. It's pretty simple. You just find the one that you want in the right there, and it will basically just tell you how to draw it. And then once you've done it, it will unlock it, so you don't have to actually draw it anymore. You can just press the button for it. I remember most of these immediately, but not all of them. That's me completing a research there, so I go arcane chalk completed, and it will now tell me that I could do some stuff. And now we move on to our next research, which is ritual circles. Now this one's a bit different. As you can see, when I clicked on it, it didn't pop up the ritual circle thing saying, you know, write the word that I've asked you to write in the language that you don't understand, or whatever. You know. Well, most of it's going to be in English, but the actual letters are not, so that's a thing. And again, lots of lore, but it also says drawing chalk underlined. So this previous research allows us to make this recipe here, which is a bone, simple elemental dust, redstone, red sand. Makes an arcane chalk. You'll have to use a arcane workbench for that, or one of the variants of it, because those use your research. I can't be bothered with that, so I'm just gonna spawn one in. And when I click with it, it will place down a ritual circle, and it will give me an achievement, Art of Magic. Create a ritual circle. And actually, that achievement, advancement, it's called advancements now. I need to get used to this. That advancement unlocks this new research, which tells me that I can use redstone or gunpowder to modify the circle that I've placed down. So, as you can see, we've got a ritual circle. It's got an animation going on it. It's the same texture as the one in the GUI. If I right click it, it turns red and sort of wobbles a bit. It tells me it can't do anything. If I press U on the arcane chalk, I've got JI integration, so I've got fusion rituals currently. Use redstone. So I can make arcane chalk using this effectively. It tells me which research is needed to do it. It tells me the ingredients here and the reagent. The reagent is kind of like an activation thing, and it even tells me the mana cost and corruption cost. So let's give that a go. So let's see, redstone, sand, bone. So looking at the recipe, this top left thing is the reagent, and that's the first thing that goes in. So I can right click on the circle like that, and it will create this sort of inner bit, which tells me it's now a fusion ritual. And then I put in the 2 ingredients that I want to fuse, and I right click it to activate it again, and it will do a little animation thing where it moves around, and then it will produce the result, and then it will revert back to a regular ritual circle. So currently I've got 3 different types of ritual, and I've got fusion, diffusion, and growth. There are actually more types, but not all of them have recipes yet. This is a placeholder recipe. This will not be a thing in the actual game, but this was me just testing out that this ritual worked. So if I take gunpowder and a diamond block, you'll see that that's a bug. I will fix that. Apparently it doesn't delete its current inventory when it comes, but anyway. So this is the diffusion ritual. As you can see, it's got a different animation when it runs. They all have different animations when they run, and that will produce my result as such. Pretty simple. So that is the ritual system. Fairly basic. I mean, once you've got the JI integration, it's pretty easy to see what you got to do. All of that stuff, mana costs and so on. All of that, pretty easy. So we have our other research: dusts, elemental crystals, Okay, elemental crystals. Requires a little bit of thought. It's not like immediate, but in the world, you will find these sort of crystal deposits, just like in Warcraft 2, that we dot around, and you're going to mine them. Can't mine them with a stone pickaxe, yeah, it doesn't work. You need an iron pickaxe or above, and they will mine, and you'll get these sort of simple elemental dusts, and an achievement that says no broker collects elemental dusts. Now these can be used in a few things. Obviously the arcane chalk recipe I talked about earlier. Great, crystal seeds and actual crystals. This one requires a research to do. I haven't quite got the GEO integration form of research done yet, so it just shows up as a regular recipe at the moment. But eventually that will be put to a different section where it will say, actually, you need a research to do this. This one, on the other hand, that one actually does require research. It requires this research. But the other one requires this research. To complete this research, you need a ritual, and you need to use water. So I'll grab me some water. Switch back to creative mode, please. Grab a water bucket. Boop. And again, I need to reset the ritual circle because that hasn't been fixed yet. And then I need to grab some crystal seeds. So the previous ritual talked about, like, if I look in here, it says I need to seed the dust. And it talks about the ritual that, so if I take seeds. Now this is the only ritual that you can do this with, but you can actually put in an entire stack at a time in this ritual. You can't do it with any other one, just this one. And now if I just right click on this, it will activate. And you see it used up one of my mana pips in the top left there, which will restore and have a little animation when it does. There we are, we made ourselves a bunch of crystals, just like nature. And that gives me this new research, this new document, which doesn't have any useful information yet because I don't know what my next research is going to be following on this line. Let's just do that again and watch the, if you didn't see it before, you can watch the top left corner and you'll see what I mean about this whole mana bar animation with this particular tile here. So when I activate it, it doesn't do anything, but if you wait, it will do its thing. Yeah, so it plays that little sparkle cloud thing whenever you restore an amount of mana or corruption. The corruption is a different color. It's purple instead of blue, but we don't have any corruption yet, so I can't show you that. But that's a thing. So yeah, ritual system is in. Researching system is updated. We have multiple tabs again as before. Resource, that one in there, yeah. I can never remember this one. This one's more tricky. Yeah, whatever. I can't be bothered to do now. that one's always one I forget. So it does take a little while to follow those. I think that's about it, really, at the moment. I mean, obviously, it may not look like much, and you're right, it's not that much yet. As I say, most things have been back-end, and I haven't been working on it solidly since last time anyway. Most of the stuff I've done over the past week, which, I'll be honest, is fairly successful. The only thing that took me a while was this, getting this working, because I had to learn how to use GL properly to get a nice animation and all that stuff on there. But we're good now. We've worked that out. The rest of it should be pretty easy. Oh, and by the way, this chalk does actually have a durability bar on it, so if I'm in survival mode, it will actually get used up, so you can only place down like a certain number of these. But it's not a massive issue because they don't get used up in the crafting process, so just something to note. Yeah, obviously we fixed a few bugs since last time, so the transmuter doesn't have that weird thing that it used to do. We can obviously change the color of things. Variant. We can just shift items over like that. Hopper or whatever can pull out of only the slot. I can only push into that slot, so you don't have to worry about things like that. Pretty simple stuff. Yeah. I think that's about it that I wanted to showcase, actually. I don't know how long I've been doing this for. 20 minutes, that's actually not too bad. Oh, cool. So I'm pretty sure that covers everything that you can expect from this version. As I said last time, I think my plan is to release this sometime in, I think it was January. I'm pretty sure it was January. Just have a check. Yeah, January. So to mark the sort of anniversary of Lordcraft with this kind of new mod, this sort of spiritual successor to it, even though it's not really supposed to replace it, but more just be, like a new era in it, as it were. Because I understand that some people will like the idea of having the multiple elements, which you don't get in this so much. Because, you're not a Thalos in this, you're just a fairly standard lord. I wouldn't say completely ordinary, because you're meeting Monutan, the creator of magic. He's training you directly, unlike everyone else. He's got other people to train for him. So you're a bit special in that regard, I would say. So there's definitely something to that you will get to experience that'll make it different from just like a standardized magic, as it were. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this sort of preview of things so far, and yeah, I hope to see you in the next one where I plan to show off some actual content rather than systems. So if you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.